That one. This one. And this one. I'm gonna have to speak up, and you don't have my approval to take me.
This is a public meeting.
That's fine, I'm just saying you don't have my approval. Okay. I'm gonna show you guys these if you wanna pass them around. What we wanted to do was tell everybody that we used to have a free pantry, in the free library. We've had it for several years, and it really was a good thing. We had a lot of the community that enjoyed it. They contributed to it. In the space that we have now in our free library, which I'll talk about next, which is a wonderful space. We obviously don't have room for a free pantry, but we would like to still have a free pantry for the community. And we wondered, could we, lots of people have talked about it in the community, would like to see one, and we want to know, could we have one built, and we people in the community would contribute to that, and could we put one outside the library over here? And we thought maybe that would be a thing that people could come to and say, okay, I'll go get a free book, I'll get a can of soup, and I'll put a rock on Lou or something, kind of a one-stop shop thing. So I wanted to see what you guys thought as a group about the free pantry. What I didn't say was on the back of those pictures, it'll tell you where those pantries are. There's one in, I think it's, what did I say on there? Rogersville, and there's one in Summertown. And we stopped at Summertown, my husband and I did the other day, and I took pictures of that and actually left a rock under the free pantry. And I went and asked the girl that worked there, I said, do you guys have a lot of people? And she said it's used all the time. And, obviously I'm sure it is. Ours was used quite frequently. We have a lot of people that frequent it, so I wanted to address that and see what you guys thought about it.
Well, I don't think it's anytime you're able to try to help people out, it's always a good thing.
Okay.
But in our particular situation, we are regulated by our insurance provider. And this is something that I've discussed with him before, and he does not, because of liability concerns and his own issues, that they do not want us to have a free pantry on town property.
I wonder how the other towns get away with it, or would you have any idea? The one in Rogersville is actually outside of the library. Of course, it's a public library, but it's outside the library there. The one in Summertown is just on a piece of property that's attached to the gas station there on the corner.
Well, I can't speak
Okay.
for somebody else.
Well, I understand. I just thought you might have known.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's kind of a no.
Right. I don't.
Okay.
I understand the intent, and don't get me wrong, and I think everybody here does. It's always wonderful to help people that we can, in any way we can. But to some extent, we are regulated by our insurance provider, and he has, on several occasions, told me, we can't do anything with clothing or food on our property.
And so the reason that would be if we stuck it right out here beside the door to the free library. That would be the reason why.
On
your property.
Anywhere.
Okay. So we've had one community member that said, well, if the town would not approve it, she would put it in front of her house. Do you guys have any problem with that?
Well,
No.
Okay. All
no,
right.
it's a great thing.
Okay.
Why did it discontinue? You
Well,
said it's
because-
here many years.
Because you guys moved us over here.
There wasn't free pantry over there.
Sure there was.
Not whenever it moved over here.
Absolutely.
Where was the food at? I was in there a couple of times.
Well, there's a big black shelf there and big signs that say pantry, and there was food on the shelves. Yeah.
I'm seeing. My bad.
It was there for several years.
And I don't disagree. Anytime we can help anybody in our community, that's a wonderful thing. But unfortunately for us, we are regulated by AMIC,
Okay.
and they give us guidelines to go by. And this is one of them that he has, communicated to me that we cannot do this.
Okay. Okay. Well, I just wanted to bring it up, and so, but it's okay if we you know, put it on someone else's property. Okay, so we just want to let you know that that's what we're thinking about doing. Okay. Okay, free library is my next subject. I just kind of wanted to give everybody an update. Our space is absolutely fabulous, and we thank the town immensely. You guys have gone overboard. We've got all the shelves in place. We are very close to opening up. We've been slowly moving books across the street. We only have a few things that we want to bring to your attention. We've got couple obstacles. One is we need a receptacle to put box donations. That becomes a big problem. People hate to throw away books, and I understand it. I was a librarian for several years. I get it. But in this current space we have, which we really, really like, we have not 1 square inch of workspace. When somebody comes in and brings a box of books, we have no place to put those books. So what we have to do is we have to physically pick them up and roll them in a cart or something around the front of this building and put them in this shed over here, which is kind of awkward for us because we're all old women. We did have somebody that I had actually put out a request and said, hey, I actually sent you a copy of it, Mr. Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
There was a really nice box at Sam's, and I said, hey, if anybody's got an extra $300 and wants to be gracious, you know, you could do this. Somebody actually took us up on that. They didn't buy that one. My mouth's getting real dry. Excuse me, Kelly. Anyway, they didn't take us up on that one, but they did buy one, and it's coming Wednesday. And I wanted to see if we could have permission. It's a boat dock box, I guess is what you call it, one of those brown boxes, and this thing is on wheels. So it would be very nice if we could maybe set it right there by that shed. I think it'll look okay, and it's waterproof, so I'm hoping that what people will do, we'll put some signs up when we open and say, if you have box donations, please drop your box donations off in we'll call that box something. And then when we come to put the books away, we can just open up the top of it, go through the books, and then put them right there in that shed. And then we don't have to worry about how to transport these books from this door over here in this room to this shed over here. So any problem with putting that boat dock box in front of that shed?
Any concerns, discussion, comments?
We just don't know what else to do for a workspace. We don't have a square inch in there to put an extra book. We don't. As a matter of fact, we wanted to have after school programs. We wanted to paint some rocks. We wanted to do some crafty items, and we don't even have a place in there where we can put extra scissors or glue or crayons or things like that. So it's hard. We don't know what to do.
Any issues?
Box is coming Wednesday, so let's just talk about that. Can we put that box in front of that shed over there?
I just keep it back off the sidewalk where people, you know, you'll keep it next to the building.
Okay, all right. It would just make it a whole lot easier on us to open up the box, get the books out, and put them in that shed. Our plan is to take the extra bookcases, because our Ladies of Paradise gals bought those bookcases that are over in the old library. So we're going to take what's left over there, bring them across the street, and put them in this shed over here, and then put the extra books that we have, the overstock, on those shelves.
All right?
All right. So, hey, the other thing I wanted to ask was, I wanted to confirm that the hours are 9 to 7, 7 days a week. Have I got that right?
No.
Not
Weekend was 1 to 7
1 to 7. Okay. All right. 1 to 7.
on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. Saturday it's 1 to 7. I didn't. Okay. All right. And then Monday through Friday
9 to 7.
is 9 to 7.
Right.
Okay. Is there any problem with us putting something on the door, like those little numbers, you know, that shows the hours on the glass doors over there? Any problem with us doing anything like that? Okay. All right. What if we wanted to get something painted on the doors, like free library? We know some people, I think you guys know Kay Rose. She does all the painting in Savannah, and then she does work up here, and there's another gal that does painting at the school, classroom doors and things like that. If we wanted to get something painted on the doors that says maybe seasonal items, a big turkey for Thanksgiving, gobble gobble, come get a book, something like that that's washable. Do we have to get approval for that each time, or is it okay if we get something painted on the doors? We don't expect you guys to pay for it.
I think the lady down here is kind of out of commission for a little while. She just had a baby.
Well, I know we
You know.
pay Rose though, she's fine.
Yeah. So, may have an issue.
I just trying to find out how much freedom we have with this space. Do we need to ask about every single thing that we're doing, or can we, what do you expect?
Well, I guess the big thing is we just want to try to take care of the space and for the community to use it as much as possible and as good as the community can use it. And, but I don't think if you put something on the doors is going to be detractive from it or in any such way, so.
Right, well, do we need to bring that to your attention at each meeting,
Yeah.
or, I'm
No,
sorry,
if you want to
I
do
missed it.
something seasonal and it's washable off, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, let me make sure I got that, okay. I also was gonna ask about this, and this is probably a big no, but I was gonna say, can we have a porta potty beside out there?
No, we're not
Okay,
going to do
that's
that.
what I asked, okay. Okay, how about a picnic table? Could we have a picnic table right there?
No,
We can't have a picnic table either, to do some crafty items, people could sit out there and read in the summertime? No?
I don't think
Okay.
there's space for it.
mm-mm. If they want to bring their own bag chair and take it with them when they leave, that's a different thing, but I don't think we need to put up anything that's going to be structurally permanent or seem permanent.
You think a picnic table is permanent?
Start with that and it'll be something else, so,
You're not gonna take it home with you every night, so yeah.
yeah,
And they won't see it on top of it when it's raining.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what about the space outside the library? That's who is, well, I thought that and I guess, I think you and I actually talked about that, Mr. Mayor. One time we were standing outside the library and I said, what are we gonna do about all this? And I think we at that time decided that it was one thing at a time and we didn't quite get to that. Well, we went to a big to-do and we put a rock snake out there, and then one day the rock snake was up on blocks and the top of my head blew off, and then I heard that we were putting bushes out there. And I had been to every single meeting that I know of, and I never heard anything about bushes, and how do I find out what's going on with that space? Because I came to the meeting that night and it was never mentioned as,
Well, that's town property.
right?
So it can be used as this council sees fit to be used. It doesn't have to be, if we decide we're going to do some landscaping out there, then we can do that. It's town
Well,
property.
absolutely, but why would you not communicate that? I mean, only because we're the library over there. We've been in this town for over 10 years. 10 years we've been here.
Did you do anything outside over there?
Well, we had, well, not a whole lot with the concrete over there, but we put tables out. We had,
Well, here's one
the
thing.
school trips and that kind of
Here's
thing.
one thing to think about is we maintain that out there. Plus, there's people driving through there constantly. They use that as a cut through from that, just from Pine Street to Main Street. So for safety reasons above anything else, we don't need a lot of activity out there because kids come through there on four-wheelers, razors, anything like that. For just a safety standpoint, I think it's a good thing to consider not having too much activity out there because people come through there at all times of the day. Especially in the summertime when school is out.
okay. Could we put, we've had one community member speak up, and I think she does a lot of landscaping around here. Maybe that's the wrong word to use, but anyway, she said she would come if it was approved, and she would put some plastic down, some landscape timbers, and we could put maybe some pea gravel in there and just do 2 landscaping areas, like, I don't know what to call it, like a rock garden in front on either side of the 2 doors. And then we could actually have kids contribute to Lou the rock snake, and maybe paint rocks and make it a butterfly garden in that. Just make the outside of the library look more inviting to kids and the public.
Well, I tell you what, we'll work on the outside and let you work on the inside. How's that? We'll see.
Well, no,
We'll
I don't like it, but I guess we'll have to
okay,
live with it.
We'll see what we can do to be inviting on the outside. Because, you know, I think we've transformed the front of the community center, looks fairly nice now, so I think we can work over here and make it look nice. We'll contribute that part.
So we cannot, the library, cannot have anything on the outside of the library.
Now, for safety reasons, with people coming through there, I don't think we need to put a whole lot of stuff out there.
I don't know how much space you got right there.
Well, what about Lou the rock snake? Can he stay there? We were gonna put him inside this,
Well, when we get the landscaping done, you can put him in that bed right there.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess that takes care of that. We're also gonna try to make, and I don't know if I can say wheelchair accessible, but we are giving that a thought on the library, because I noticed that you did put in double doors, so that's really nice if people, and we're gonna try to make sure that we've got enough room to at least get a wheelchair in there. And actually, after the meeting, if anybody has time, we've got a key. If anybody wants to walk over and look at the library, you can see how wonderful what you guys have done looks.
You've done an amazing job.
It's not just me. We had our girls have helped. We've got a Ladies of Paradise book club that is well, but anyway, we've had a ball with it, and it's really so important to this community. I mean, it's amazing how many people. Actually, there are people getting mad because we're not open yet.
Yeah.
There was one 85-year-old woman that called me this weekend, and she was highly upset. But I said, well, we're not open yet, and I didn't want her to go in there and trip and fall because we got books all over the place. But anyway.
But you've done a great job. It looks
It
amazing.
really looks nice. And we thank you guys for giving us such a nice space. It's really nice. Okay, so let's see. I also had tennis courts, and tennis courts is not my bag, but there were several people that asked me about what's the status of tennis courts, and I just wanted to see just if you had a general thing that I could answer the question. What's the status of the tennis courts?
We had approached. We have the lights donated. We have them across the road stored, and we have the poles to put up. They're laying off down there. It's just we have to work around. We had to wait till we got through the trellis tiers, and then we'll try to address that.
So it's you've got the stuff to fix it with? Am I understanding that? Okay, well they'll be thrilled.
So
Some of the stuff, okay.
We'll
So
have to get
you're working on it, or going to
Yes.
work on it, so that's wonderful, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
The fence is still in good shape, but the asphalt's going to have to be sealed, and we'll have to be repainted. But it's not anything we can't handle.
Right. What about those people that came to a meeting one time and said that they were going to give
I haven't
lessons?
seen them since, or
Well-
talked to them since.
Okay,
They
somehow
were-
that doesn't surprise me.
They
but
were
okay.
they were going to be in contact with the USTA Association,
Right,
but I talked to that gentleman a couple of times, and that's been several months ago, and I haven't seen him since, or spoken with him since. And they were moving here from Texas.
I remember that.
They may not be relocated yet, for all I know. I do not know.
Okay, but anyway, you're working on this, that's wonderful, okay. The other thing that I had, and I want to say that in the spirit of transparency, I don't want to be a troublemaker, but I really wanted to understand. I want to add to this community. I don't want to change it. I just want to add to it because it's already wonderful. But at the last council meeting, I asked 2 questions because I was very curious because I made the choice to retire here, and I want to make sure that there's a town here, and I really like this community. But I asked 2 questions, and one of them was, what did the town exist off of? And the answer was a few taxes, or well, it wasn't a few taxes, but some taxes. And the majority of it was the interest from the CDs that Mr. Culver left the town.
A good portion of it is.
Exactly. So in the spirit of transparency, I want to ask, I'm aware, I think, that the town lost interest on some CDs this year. And I wanted to know why that happened. And like I said, I'm not trying to be a troublemaker, but if the town, I mean, if that's what we exist on, how can we just lose interest on
Well, we're
on
given
CDs?
a
How do we do
10-day
that?
notice when they become mature.
Uh-huh.
If that 10 days happen to fall right after we have a meeting, then, because, you know, what we're gonna have to do is keep up with it so we don't wait till we get that notice. Because we just get a 10-day notice.
I mean, it's right there, right, across the street,
They mail us a notice that's gonna be in 10 days.
and it's right there across the street, right?
That's right.
Okay. And
Oh,
so,
I
how
thought-
much money did we?
I might add
Lose.
that, but that does not mean that that's how that happens, that CDs are re-upped.
Okay.
Number one, you want to investigate what the new CD rates are as a competitive basis. This town has always preferred farmers and merchants since we have a local bank here. But it would be a misuse of the public trust for them not to investigate what all CD rates are. Then you have to pass another depository resolution for it to be re-upped at that time. That has to happen every time a CD comes up for renewal. So there is a process involved. So, you know, hope to work with the bank with additional time, start logging better internally with the town, that they were able to keep up with that. So it's not just you get a notice and you re-up the CD. It's not that easy.
Can I
And
ask
Of course,
how-
the council needs to vote on all of that. So
Right. How much interest was that was lost?
I don't
I
know.
don't have any of that.
You don't know?
No, I do not.
Do you?
You know what I'm asking? I mean, this town exists on that, and you lost 2 months' interest, and nobody knows how much it was. I mean, I didn't roll
Keep
off
in
a
mind, it
credit
was
truck.
still earning interest, not at new rates.
Okay. Tell me again.
It would still be earning interest, but not at new rates.
It just wasn't renewed.
Right.
Okay. Did that happen last year?
I do
Also?
not know. There are a couple of different CDs
Okay.
involved.
Okay.
More than.
So it didn't stop, what they're saying, it didn't stop. You didn't lose money, it just,
Well, you might have lost 0.5% or whatever.
Half a
whatever the new
percent
rate was,
on.
but you still got your old rate.
I get that, but a 0.5% on how much? Like $1 million or something like that is.
All four of them is different amounts.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to understand, and I'll just take a few minutes, I wanted to understand how the council works, just so I get it in my head. Like who's elected and who's appointed and when is the next election? Like, can somebody explain that to me? Like who in this council was actually elected at an election, and who was appointed by, let's say, the governor? Can somebody explain that to me?
This particular council has had some changes in it, but everyone in here is initially elected. We've had some resignations, which required the operation of law, where the council would then move the president pro tem when the last mayor resigned. The president pro tem assumes the position of the mayor.
Right, and that would be Mr. Cadell. So he was, I'm just trying to understand,
Right.
I wanted to know these
That's
individuals.
what I'm
Okay,
trying to tell you.
okay,
Mr. Cadell. Once Mr. Cadell was moved to this position, that created a new position
right.
for electing. That's when Ms. Whitaker, or was that when Ricardo?
That's Ricky, isn't it?
Yeah, Ricardo.
Ricardo.
He was elected by the
Ricky
voters.
was elected.
By the council. The way the operation of law works, that if within 60 days, the council, after making notice to the public that there's a position available, the council then appoints another person to the council. That's in section 44 Gee, I wish you hadn't asked me. I'd have that for you in my old file. But in Title 44. So it is, in non-election years, it's the council's responsibility to appoint new members to the council to fill vacant positions.
Right, I understand, because I was here when 2 current members were appointed.
Okay, so you're here.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, these individuals, like who was elected, actually elected in this current council? Elected by the people, who? What's their
So
name?
was the
Who did
last
you
time.
vote for?
I can't vote.
Why
I'm
did,
just-
why did you not vote?
Well, because I don't live in the community,
Thank
in
you.
the,
Thank you.
is that a problem?
Thank you. It's a problem when you question my authority to be here, it's a problem.
I'm
I
not
get
questioning your
sorry.
authority to be here,
Well,
sir.
that's what you're asking about, seems to me like.
No, I'm asking because I want to understand how the council
Well,
works.
they
I want
have
to
a
know when
civics,
is the
they
next.
have a civics class at school. You can take it and learn about government and how it works.
Okay, that's
Aside from that.
Did you guys hear
it's a
that?
Good point.
yeah, that's
That
not,
was a
that's
bit
not
much.
appropriate for a councilman.
I
Well,
came
think
on
it's a very
in,
good point.
I came on in 16 because Jack Harris resigned because he had terminal cancer. And then the next time I was elected, I ran unopposed.
That's right.
And that's when, how I got, and then I was nominated to be mayor pro tem. And then when our previous mayor resigned, then I assumed this position.
Right, and I appreciate your answer.
That's right.
I
And
do
then-
not appreciate your comment. I am
I
not
don't
trying to cause
appreciate
trouble.
you. I don't appreciate every time I get on Facebook, I hear you degrading the council.
I am
A
not
lot of
degrading
your
the council.
people have. A lot of your people
I don't have people.
I get paid $25 to come down here once a month and listen to you run your mouth. So I'm sorry. I'm not too happy with you.
I think she's doing a pretty damn good job.
Excuse me, I'm gonna call this meeting to order, or I'll ask everybody to leave. It's one of those two things. Remember, city councils, any town council, is required to have open meetings. They're not required to have anybody speak. Keep in mind, this council has been very open by allowing public speaking, even within the middle of a council hearing. Now, if there can't be order within the council, then there won't be public speaking. That's just the way this works.
I called and asked to be put on the
And
agenda.
you're on the agenda.
And I don't think that I have accused anybody. I think I started my conversation by saying I want to add to this community and I want to understand how it works. I want to know who has been elected. I want to understand that. Who has been appointed? When is the next election? Why are you taking offense to
I think
that?
the next
Why did
election-
somebody post on the Facebook page about bringing 30 or 35 people to the last meeting and straighten the town council out? Do you not
I
think
have no
that's an-
concern. I didn't post that.
Well, it come off of your post, original post, it was comment.
And you think that's my fault? I didn't post
No,
that.
ain't nothing your fault, it's all our fault. Just leave it.
That is very inappropriate for a council member to speak to me
Well,
that way.
thank you, it's very important.
I came here for 2 years. I never saw you.
Well, I'm sorry you're suing me now.
All right, so Ricky,
He was elected last time.
he was elected last term,
Okay. So how many council members are there? There's like
5 in a month.
5, and then plus a mayor.
That's right.
Okay. So when you vote on something, you have to have like a
You have to
majority
have-
votes.
You have
or-
to have, you have to be able to have a meeting and vote on anything financial.
Gotcha.
Now,
Okay.
we can have a meeting if there's just 2 people here, but we can't vote on anything with financial decisions behind it.
Have to
Okay.
have a quorum of
Have to
4.
quorum of 4.
Quorum of 4. Okay.
That includes the mayor, correct?
That
Yes.
includes the mayor and 3 council.
We're a
Okay.
class, in our class of town, yes, and the mayor votes.
Right. And
Okay.
that's because we're under 15,000.
Election, yes.
Under 15,000, the mayor is a member of the council, has a voting privilege.
See, I don't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like Florence, was over 15,000, the mayor does not have voting privilege.
Okay.
And the mayor's responsibility, like in Florence, is day-to-day operations.
Okay.
He's like the CEO, just day-to-day operations. And the council's responsibility is to make financial decisions. So things are proposed to the council, just like they are here, and we vote on if we're gonna spend X amount of money for something or whatever,
Right,
you know?
okay.
And that's
So-
the same way, but
so-
it's, the cutoff is 15,000.
I'll say we're a Class 8 where the cutoff is, not to disagree with the mayor, we're a Class 8 where the cutoff is under 6,000.
6,000.
Okay, gotcha, okay. Now, Mr. Strickland, you were elected or appointed?
I was appointed in 15, and
And
then
how does that work? I just was curious. Who appoints you and why?
council.
Again,
Oh, okay. See, I thought the governor had appointed you.
No, the council.
Okay, got it, okay,
that was even before my time. But
okay.
yes, everyone that's been currently on the council was either appointed or elected.
Gotcha,
The only
okay.
appointed persons right now are Mr. Pendergraft and Ms. Whitaker.
Okay. And when is the next election?
I say
25.
they were appointed. I say I was appointed. The council votes. I mean, so I
Yeah.
guess technically you're elected.
Right.
But-
I had
Yeah,
heard,
council.
that's why I wanted to ask the question. I had heard that you were appointed by the governor. That's what I'd heard, so I'm just asking.
That-
To be appointed by the governor, you'd have to be down, we'd have to be down to 2 council members.
Okay,
So
okay.
That or the council was unable to come to a vote.
Yes.
Right.
Or an agreement
Okay.
on the person.
And so
Okay.
that's right.
So the
That's
next
correct.
vote is 2025.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, that's different than normal because this term, because the state of Alabama, you can correct me if I'm wrong, does not want to have its elected, like town and city elections on the same calendar year as the presidential primary. So it's gone another year. So this term is a 5-year term for these positions instead of a 4. Where it normally would have been next year.
Okay.
National elections made it very tough on probate judges.
I bet they
That's right.
did.
Yeah.
I bet they did. Okay.
Pulled their hair out.
Okay, so now I understand that. Now the next, I know I'm taking up too much time, but the next thing I wanted to ask is about executive meetings. I know we go into a lot of executive meetings. And suppose, are there like 9 reasons that you can go into an executive meeting?
7.
7, okay. I don't understand why we go into, or why you guys go into executive meetings. Do you come, like, I read the last Facebook post on the town said, and I couldn't even understand what it meant. I would try to read it to you again, I don't have it written down, but something about you were going into executive meeting to talk about possible litigation. Is that just pertaining to the town council? Does the town have does the community have a right, in quotations, to know what the litigation is about? Are we ever told, or is that just, because as I understand it, the council is supposed to represent the community.
That's right, and that's why a council can go into executive session as
Okay.
representatives of the community to discuss many things that are confidential in nature. Like we've been going into executive session because of some potential litigation that could be happening for the good name and character of citizens of the town that aren't elected. But also, executive sessions are very often in terms of real estate negotiations, where the negotiations are not complete. Trademark and corporate negotiations, where pricing is being discussed among various competitive bids before it becomes open to the public and competitive in nature of it, to decide what you might want to do. So that a company says, this is confidential information of ours, you cannot discuss it and put it out for bid, that sort of thing.
So my question, I guess, is that the council represents the community. How do you know what the community wants if we don't know what the...
Because you've elected these council members.
But
that
I didn't
represent-
elect them, I guess that's what I was kind of
Because you're not a
getting.
citizen.
But,
So.
well,
that,
they
you
were
know,
appointed. I guess what I'm not trying to argue, but I see what you're saying.
Well,
I'm not
but
arguing with you.
In the United States, we use a representative form of government. And I'll amplify Mr. Pendergraft's civic lessons about here. In representative forms of government, you elect representatives, and yes, there are times that the law calls for these elected representatives that represent the public. Keep in mind, we are open districts, at large, what you call at large
Okay.
type elections,
All right.
that they represent the entirety of the populace of Waterloo. So they've been entrusted to act on the town's behalf for those things.
So, and I'm not arguing, I just want to understand, but the people that were appointed, wa- and I know I don't live in the town limits, but I didn't have anything to do with the two individuals that were appointed, so I didn't elect them to
But
be in charge
the
of.
representatives of the town who were elected appointed them. Now, that's the legislative
Right, that's the law.
statute
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it. That's
yeah.
the law to
That's-
be able to do it
that's
for an easy and proper transition of government.
I understand that. Do you ever come back and tell us what's going on, like the real estate? It was a confidential real estate transaction.
If it
Well-
fell through, no.
Oh.
There wouldn't be a need to.
Okay.
But it, having divulged some of those conversations may impugn future negotiations for independent parties outside of the town
Right.
that don't have anything to do with it. Litigation could be because a contract didn't go through that somebody was arguing about that might be settled without any involvement of the town or, anybody's good name and reputation that you wouldn't want to disparage.
Okay. I guess that answered my question. I'm still gray. I know you tried. It's probably me. I'm still gray on it. Okay, the last thing I wanted to bring up. Oh, well, one other thing, and this is not on the agenda, and then I'll bring up the last question. Are we doing anything for Halloween? Is it time to talk about Halloween yet, the trick or treat? And the reason I say this is because Elizabeth Hart had said, she just said, hey, would you please bring this up? She's got a lot of people coming, and not that this would make a difference, but she's got a lot of people coming in that wanted to participate. She said, could you just mention that the people at Harts Park wanted to have the trunk or treat on the Saturday before Halloween? So I don't know what you guys have planned for
We're waiting
Halloween.
on the school, and they are meeting tonight.
Okay, so we'll, okay.
Yeah, our next meeting is October the 9th,
So we'll have time to figure it out
That's
by
right.
then. Okay, all right. Okay, and
And I
then,
know the Boosters Club is meeting tonight to try to come down with a date that they wanted to do it. And we usually, in the past, have worked it the same night so that the kids and the families that come to the school can come down here afterwards.
okay, sounds good. All right, I just told her I'd
And
bring
that's, in the past, has worked pretty good.
Yes,
Yeah.
fun, okay.
Yeah.
And the last thing I have to bring up, and I had mentioned this at the last meeting, and I have to tell you, I was shocked. I had said, does the town have a budget? And so I'm going to read this off, and somebody can correct me, and I'm not an expert on the Alabama Code, but Alabama Code 11-49B-17, which I'm sure that the attorney knows, the first paragraph reads, within 30 days of the beginning of the fiscal year of an authority, the board shall adopt a budget for the fiscal year. I spent 25 years, I guess, in Savannah, and I got the Savannah Courier the other day, and I spent 10 minutes looking at the whole full-page ad of their approved budget. And so I'm asking, is Waterloo exempt from having a budget? How do we not have a budget?
Can I volunteer?
I guess so. I will if you don't want to.
No, I know from my end of it, this town has been struggling to come up with a clear financial position in the last few years about where they are. Now, the budget itself has been sort of self-perpetuating in a manner of speaking, in that the expenses have been rather fixed that the town has had. Thank goodness. Hopefully, within the next few weeks, the town will have produced an audit that, of course, as y'all know, this council has been fighting for several years to get done, that can be published for the town. And once we have the audit, then the town will then be able to have a firm budget that it can set on it, that will not be just, okay, we spent this last year, we'll spend this again this year, which is what the town has essentially done. in the past
How do
few
you get
years.
away with that though? I mean, every town has to have a budget.
And-
How has Waterloo operated with, how do you run a town with no budget?
Well, again, like I said, the expenses have been rather fixed.
I understand
So there
that.
hasn't been anything extraordinary that
Well,
have called for.
but we have hired new
that
people.
have extraordinary, not
But that's
extraordinary.
still the people that we hire has still been fixed because David Smith did the same job that Philip's doing for 26 years.
True, I agree, yeah.
David White, I'm sorry, David
David
White
White.
for 26 years.
I understand.
So that, even that position, and we've had a town clerk, I mean, all these are pretty much fixed, this, you know, and I remember your question, and one thing I told you is, you know, any capital project we have, we bring it to the table and talk about it, discuss it, and decide if we have the funds or the finances available to do any capital projects. Now, we don't have a lot of capital projects. And, you know, thank goodness that, you know, even for the Trail of Tears, we're able to reach out and get some grants every year. And those help. Those grants help, you know, they basically cover our initial expense to get, you know, what we have to have established, and then, you know, the vendor fees help out also. So, in, you know, the last few years, we've tried to limit our spending on the Trail of Tears and had community people help us out so that we are not in the negative on any event.
I do understand that. I'm just amazed that you don't have an approved fiscal year budget. I just don't understand how you don't have one. I mean, I understand how what you're saying. I just don't understand that this town does not have an approved budget. I just never heard such. I mean, that's, I don't want to say illegal, but I think it's illegal.
I wouldn't say it's illegal, but I've been.
I don't know what, I'm not saying that
I've been in
to
part of
be.
organizations, they have a budget every year and it's not worth the paper it's written on.
Right.
Well, I think you have to have one though.
Well,
We can make up a number.
I
Yeah,
gotta
well,
tell you,
that'd
everybody
be
make up
fine.
a number.
But
and-
my,
But, well, okay.
well, I don't want to say that, but I'm just, yeah, I'm asking the question. So I guess that was what is the answer again?
We've got.
The answer is we're gonna have one, we're gonna
Yes.
get one
We've
after the audit
got
is
a hurdle
approved.
we gotta get over.
yeah.
Okay.
That's
Well, that's all I have. I think that was it. Sorry.
May I ask, is it sort of like y'all are operating on a continuing resolution the way Congress does when they can't pass a budget?
That's a good way to put it, and that's why the council has been very project-specific in its budgets in doing so, as well as the fixed expenses that it's had. So it has had a de facto budget, but this council, I know, has been working very hard to solve a problem that it has struggled with.
What is that? What do you mean?
Constructing a budget with a completed audit.
Oh, okay.
We need that. And we're very conscious of our finances, and we're not going, that's why we have discussions, we don't want to do anything to jeopardize anything, but at the same time, there's certain things we need to get accomplished also.
I do understand. And honestly, if you don't ask, you don't know. So I'm not trying to, I want to understand it. That's all I have.
I'd like to bring up a couple of things. If you look on top of the counter here, that anyone that would like to, they're right up here, an air evac form, they're right up there. If anybody doesn't have that and would like to participate in it, it's very good to have, especially living where we live, because I'm sure a lot of y'all see MedFlight come in and pick up people from time to time where they have a, you know, ATV accident or whatever. So, you know, I just want to, he brought those by and left them one day, so I just want to bring that to your attention. Also, right here is last year the town and Beth and the bank and them sponsored a group of kids at the school, I think 4th, 5th, 6th grade, go space camp. So they wrote us all some letters of thank you, and they're up here. Anybody like to look at them, and they did appreciate it, and they had a really good time. So I think that all was to the good there, for sure. And by our next meeting, we hope to have all of our quotes in to finish our community center grant. We like a few items, but if you haven't been by, it's been freshly painted and it looks very nice, and we hope to finish it up by our quotes by the next meeting. And then during the Trail of Tears event, Miss Eloise Josie, who's over the state of Alabama Indian Affairs, brought these for us. It's a commendation recognizing the town of Waterloo for hosting the Trail of Tears event, and it from the governor's office. And then this is a proclamation that November is American Indian Heritage Month from Governor Ivey also. So we will try to recognize that and leave our 9 state of Alabama tribal flags up through most of November. And then this is a proclamation by the governor expressing October 9th as American Indian Heritage Day. So we do appreciate those. And if the council have anything they'd like to bring up or discuss? Anybody else have anything? Yes, sir.
I got a question, mainly to Jim, I guess. Most of us here cannot vote for you or any of the council members, but we're very much a part of this community. And my question to you, Jim, if we have a project like Patty has, free library, you know, we have the Trail of Tears, we have the 4th of July celebrations. If we wanted to have another project, can we, as not Waterloo citizens, but community citizens, get with a council member off the record and discuss this and plan it and bring it to the city council?
Yes, Mr. FC, I don't see.
Bring it to the meeting.
That's right. And as happened with the free library, if it becomes a direct benefit to the community that the council can then justify participation in, because it not only benefits outside but benefits inside of the community, then the council can consider most anything, as long as it can pin a direct benefit to the citizenry of the town, even if some of the benefits go to citizens that are outside of the town.
So if I wanted to get with Doyle and plan an event, we could plan it and present it to the
Yeah, you
town.
you can call and ask to be put on the agenda.
No, I'm talking about me and him
Oh yeah.
off the.
Now, you can't plan an event and then expect it to happen. We'll have to go through the same steps.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about
Discuss it.
promoting it, getting it started. Let's say we have a fall festival event similar to the
School.
4th of July or the Trail of Tears, and we want to really initiate that and get it started and do some footwork to get it. Can we do that and then present our presentation at a council meeting or whatever?
As a presentation to see, you know, all events like you're talking about need feasibility footwork to see if it'll even work.
Yeah.
So yes, if a council member is willing to participate to help with that, absolutely. But before you spend any money or actually do anything that would happen in the council, of course you'd want to
I'm not
do.
talking about money. I'm talking
Yeah.
about,
Legwork.
you know, planning or
Yeah.
brainstorming, whatever you want. to
Right,
call it.
brainstorming I think is a great idea outside of this, and then bring to the council an idea. Absolutely.
Like I say, we can't vote on them guys, and we're working on that too, right?
Yes, sir.
But everybody on the council is retired except for Ricardo and Chris.
Monica.
I was over Saturday.
Monica's not retired. Monica.
Yeah, she's not, I mean, she's not. But, what I'm getting at is you don't have much time to do stuff like that, except for the retired members. George, Lord, you got plenty of time. But if we could get an interest up, I guess is what I'm promoting.
Yes,
Right now, I mean, I'm not being trying to be negative. I see no interest from any of y'all on there doing this. Because, I mean, I've talked to some of you, and you don't even know, a lot of you don't even know what's on the agenda for the meeting.
Well, tonight I drew this up myself because Tanya wasn't here to type it all up every day, you know. But basically, this meeting was,
No, I'm not talking about this meeting. I'm talking about any previous meeting. There's not a whole lot that all the council members know that's going to happen before they get it. As far as discussion, whatever's going to be brought up, doing a little research on it on their part to participate in the discussion. And that's just me personally. I don't see that.
well, three council people can't get together and discuss anything. That's violating the Open Law
Open
Act.
Meetings Act.
Open Meetings Act.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about knowing what's going to be discussed
Oh.
at the council meeting. Because I've asked a question, I don't know. I'll know when I get there.
It might not be that you just don't know, you might just want to talk about it.
Pardon?
It might be that we don't know, we might just not want to talk about it till we get here, we might not be able to talk about it.
No, I don't think that was the right answer I got from the people I discussed. I don't think they mean it that way. Just a comment. That's all.
Yes, ma'am.
I have two questions. It's my understanding of the Open Meetings Act that it only violates it if something were to be voted on, not necessarily discussed.
Well, that's partially correct, but there are only certain reasons you can go into an executive session.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just some council members, 3 or more, getting together with someone to discuss something, a project.
Well, actually, they're not. If it's a social gathering, and or in the course of their being members of the council, they're called to a particular place to attend a meeting. That's fine, as long as they're not in open meetings here. But when it comes to discuss a project, no, anytime that there's a possibility of a quorum involved, then then they can't discuss or take a vote on anything like that without calling a meeting. The code's very specific and hard on that sort of thing for Open Meetings Act.
Okay.
Good question.
The other question was, say some of us wanted to put together a 5K run or something like that. Does the town have to be involved in that, or is that something private individuals can just organize, other than, permission to have access to streets while they're running through or something like that?
Right. Anybody can come up with that sort of plan, kind of like Mr. Epsey's talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But then, if you need town participation, that's when you want to bring it to the town.
Right. Okay. So if you need, but it's not required.
No, if the town is not participating yet.
Okay. Yeah.
But blocking off the streets would be counterproductive.
Exactly. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're
Thank you
gonna
for
need,
that,
like,
Jay.
fire department help or the county or something like that, then that's a different thing. Anybody else? Have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Acclamation.